we could see a $75,000 Bitcoin by June. I'm not necessarily saying that this is going to happen, but traders have 3 solid indicators that they believe will make Bitcoin go above the 75K mark. So let's get into it. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. As we said before, 3 solid indicators. We're going to cover them and then we're going to analyze one by one. Starting with the first. The first of this one is an actual technical analysis indicator. It is called a symmetric triangle breakout. So this flag pattern here is happening and is almost at the end of the flag, and it's usually when a breakout happens. So this is the first of the 3 solid indicators that we have. The second one that we're going to be covering today is the Bitcoin ETF. So the Bitcoin ETF is something already old news for us, but people who have been holding the Bitcoin ETF, they had some success. And the third but not least is the Ethereum ETF. And we know that usually when Ethereum moves, Bitcoin follows, and when Bitcoin moves, Ethereum follows. They tend to go hand in hand, at least direction-wise. So these are the 3 indicators that we have to talk about today. So you should be seeing timestamps below for you to choose whichever one you want to watch first, or if you want to watch the whole thing. So let's start with the pattern itself. So this right here that you're seeing on the screen, it is the pattern. It is called the symmetric triangle. So this formation, as you see, it forms a triangle, and at the point, the extremity of the triangle is where the breakout usually happens, usually a breakout up or a breakout down. So we are hoping that it goes up, because if it goes, the next stop that we have is around the $75,000 mark. So very, very good for a lot of people. So this symmetrical triangle formation, it comes from a bullish uptrend continuation, which we have been seeing since the early May. So from early May all the way to now, we have seen this happen. So May has been a bullish month for Bitcoin. And on the last few weeks, we saw this pattern rise. And usually what happens when it breaks out as much as the maximum distance between the upper and the lower trend line. So that leg that you see on the left side, that leg is going to be the projected amount that is going to go up, or usually goes up on the right side once there's an uptrend breakout. So now everyone is keeping an eye on this indicator, because we're getting closer to the triangle apex, so the point itself of the triangle. And when the 2 trend lines, they combine, this is where the breakout usually happens. But we also have that red line that you can see on the chart. We're going to show that again, and that's acting as support, so shorting even more the amount of space that Bitcoin has to stay in between before the breakout itself. So we have 2 apexes here for a possible breakout on Bitcoin, and this is good news, because the breakout point could be around the $69,000, which is 2K above current price. Right now we are 67.5, so $1,500 difference from what it is right now, and everyone is looking at it. Everyone is keeping an eye on RSI, is keeping an eye on Bollingers, keeping an eye on this symmetric triangle here, waiting for a confirmation of a breakout or a confirmation of any bullish pattern for them to enter this trade. And of course, if you want to also enter this trade and make more than just speculating or just holding the asset, what you can do, you can go to the topics right here, and on the options tab, for example, you can go for Bitcoin right here. And since we want to wait it out for the apex itself, we can put this option a little bit further away from what it is right now. So we can go to maybe July. Here we have July 26. So what you could do, you could go a little bit in the money right now. We're at 67,000, and we can go at a 65,000, for example. The break even will be a little high for my taste, but it should become less if IV spikes again and the premium itself of the option grows a lot. So since we are buying, the break even can go low if the IV spikes a lot. And if there's a lot of volatility and movement, the break even will be a little bit less, better for us to profit. And for the amount, we usually go 4.1. So we're going to pay $954 for this. We click on open position. Yes. And we're also waiting for this bullish uptrend on Bitcoin. Another indicator, as we said before, is the ETF for Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin ETF has been released in February, if I'm not mistaken. And since then, Bitcoin has been growing a lot. On February, Bitcoin was at its lowest $39,000. And now it doubled almost. what it was before. So whoever got in the ETF early on, okay, it saw some volume, some negative volume in the early months, but right now they are seeing very good P&L on their portfolio. We can see right here that the correlation between the long time holder supply and the price itself of Bitcoin is almost inverse. So right now Bitcoin is almost at 70,000, or it did go to 70,000, and the supply itself of long time holders went down significantly, and now it is steady. So there was a lot of long time holders selling a lot of their holdings in Bitcoin. That created a correction and a consolidation period, which we just saw on that chart right there. And if you remember, there was a lot of outflow in the early months of the ETF, which was negative for them, but now it shifted completely. There's a lot of inflow on the Bitcoin spot ETF, again, because everyone is having FOMO. So everyone is buying the ETF as fast as they can because Bitcoin has been performing very, very well. Just last week, we had a 242 million inflow per day on the Bitcoin ETF. So there's a lot of new capital going into Bitcoin right after the halving. The halving itself is also part of this second point here that we have about the ETF for Bitcoin, because now the supply for Bitcoin will be less and less. The halving just cut in half the creation, the mining of new Bitcoin. So right now the supply of Bitcoin is going down, while the inflows for the ETFs is going to create what everyone is calling a short squeeze. There's going to be a lot of demand, not enough supply of Bitcoin in the market. So the open market will have a little bit of a crisis for people trying to buy Bitcoin. There won't be any. Of course, in my opinion, I believe we're still far from a short squeeze on Bitcoin, but it is getting there because there's a lot of inflow from traditional finances, from ETFs inflow. They're holding the same amount of Bitcoin, but the inflow is way higher. So that's going to create a squeeze on the ETF, which should translate to a squeeze in Bitcoin's price as well. So Bitcoin should be going up, especially because there's a lot of new people in traditional finances buying the ETF. And still talking about ETF, that brings us to the third point, which is Ethereum ETF, which is possibly going to be launched in June. Maybe late June, maybe July. So a lot of new updates from BlackRock came, and analysts, after analyzing it, say that by late June, we could have the Ethereum ETF. So BlackRock updated its S1, the forms for the SEC to launch this ETF to get it approved. And a lot of this is already being approved by the SEC. So the 19B.4 has been approved. So both of these approvals, both of these documents need to be signed off by the SEC for the ETF to start being traded. So since there's a lot of good news on this side, all these documents are getting signed by the SEC, which was very much against Ethereum for the longest time. And a lot of analysts, especially from Bloomberg, as with others, they're saying that this is a very good sign because it means that by late June or by early July, we could see the ETF already live in place. And why is this important? Well, mainly because the success of the launch of the Ethereum ETF could set a positive precedent for the Bitcoin ETF. So if the Ethereum ETF gets approved, this is going to be even better for the Bitcoin ETF because people are going to be, well, if they approve Bitcoin and Ethereum, then crypto must be legit. So whoever was skeptic about the cryptocurrency ETFs, now they're going to have less worries because it's not just Bitcoin, it's Bitcoin and Ethereum. And this combined with the symmetric triangle, this could be what makes it capitulate into the squeeze that we talked about. So all of these 3 points, they kind of connect each other at the end of the day. So what if you're bullish on the ETF about Ethereum? Well, what you can do, you can buy a call on Ethereum just like we did for Bitcoin. So you go to options, you scroll down to Ethereum, and here we go to July 26th as well, especially if we believe that by then the ETF will be will be live. And for strike, we go to 3,500. I think that would be good. Well, 4,200 break even, that's quite high. Well, we can go, for example, the 0.1 as we are used to right now. That's $70 that we can transform into who knows how much if that goes in our favor. So we click on open position, we go yes, and our request was fully processed. So now we have a Bitcoin and an Ethereum call, a long call for 2 months, for almost 2 months out. And this is bullish for us because, again, for Bitcoin, we believe that it will be breaking out on the symmetric triangle. So it will be going for the 75,000. And of course, if that goes well, it will bring Ethereum up as well. And if Ethereum gets approved by the SEC for the ETF, then we will have a lot of bullishness in the market that maybe won't happen right at once. Just like the Bitcoin ETF didn't push Bitcoin to all-time highs just then. We had to wait 4 months almost for a Bitcoin to reach all-time highs. But we know that in the future, it will bring all these bullishness from the ETFs, from the squeeze, from technical analysis, from the halving, this will be enough to bring Bitcoin, Ethereum, and of course, all these altcoins to new all-time highs by end of the year. So do you agree with the experts' analysis? Do you think they're right? Do you think they're wrong? If you think they're wrong, comment down below. What do you think Bitcoin will do? What do you think Ethereum will do? And if these news are some kind of sell the news event and just wait. So let me know in the comments below. I'm always keen to hear what you guys have to say. And if you don't have anything to say, comment down below, whatever, just for the algorithm. It helps us a lot. And if you reach all the way to the end of the video, thank you so much. And I'll catch you guys on Wednesday for another one. Peace.